بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا وبعد. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. أمسينا وأمسى الملك لله رب العالمين. اللهم إنا نسألك خير هذه الليلة، فتحها ونصرها ونورها وبركتها وهداها، ونعوذ بك من شرها وشر ما فيها وشر ما بعدها. يا رب لك الحمد كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك وعظيم سلطانك. رضينا بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا وبمحمد صلى الله عليه وسلم نبيا ورسولا. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما وعملا وإخلاصا يا رب العالمين. So inshallah we are continuing with our talk on the family in Islam, and we mentioned few topics before, and already 4 or 5 talks. I want you just to concentrate on the one that talks about the wisdom behind marriage and the goals behind marriage in Islam, or the objective of marriage in Islam, because really that's the foundation. When you know that, even if you are going through any difficulty, you can fix it, inshallah. Because there is something that can bring you together. Because most of the time people are having problem because they don't know why they are together. Really. And most of the people, if you ask them, they might give you secondary answer, not the primary answer, which is the 6 or 7 points that I mentioned. So please remember them, memorize them, and teach them to your children and friends that they are planning to get married, and tell them, please, here is the objectives. That's what you are looking for. That's what you want to achieve. So now tonight, we're going to talk about how to choose the most important element and ingredients of the marriage, which is the wife. And I mean it, not the husband. Does not mean the husband is not important or we can take any husband. No. But the most important one, the backbone of the family, is the wife. Subhanallah. Because she is the one that she gets pregnant and delivers the kids. And after her, they inherit a lot of qualities, the children, including the language. That's why we never heard father language, mother language. What's your mother language? What's your mother language? Because they are with her 9 months in the womb, and after that, the early years with her, and there is big connection, there is a lot. So, and she's in her and with her that develop the psychological and emotional health, which is far more important than the physical health. That's why it's a crime for people that after they deliver their babies, immediately, maybe 1 month old, they take them to babysitting and so on. Really, this is a crime committed against those children. Because subhanallah, at least finish the breastfeeding for the 2 years, because you are not just giving them the milk. What they are getting through that milk is more than the physical milk. And she is the one that will instill the deen in him or her, in the baby. Subhanallah. And it's enough to know why Islam make big deal out of the mother. In the Quran, subhanallah, the mother. So this is very important. And many people, they are selfish. They don't love themselves. When they choose for themselves. When you choose for yourself, you're going to go with what? With the beauty, with the look, and so on. But you forget who's going to be the mother of your children. That she's going to inculcate all what I mentioned and more in the children. And when the wife, she is the right wife, mashallah, the family will be perfect and fine regardless of the challenges. She can do it. That's why Islam make big deal about how to choose your wife. And also, when he spoke about the mata', al-mata' is what you enjoy in this life. Anything that you have and you enjoy. He said the best mata' of this life, the best enjoyment of this life is the righteous wife. And a righteous wife and the pious wife and the good wife is the one that she has the deen. The deen. She is very strong in the deen, rooted in the deen. I'm not talking just about the appearances. They are very important. The hijab and this and that. But we want the person that this hijab is going to come to be on. Hijab comes later on, when the inside was built. We need to look for the beauty of the inside before the beauty of the outside. That's why the Prophet ﷺ, when we're going to come to this hadith, he spoke about that. And he said, what will happen to you if you forsake the deen? You're going to pay the consequences, sooner or later. That's why Islam didn't give any big deal to other criteria that people are looking for when they get married. If this criteria, they are not first followed by the deen. If the deen comes first and you have this other criteria, that's great. But when these criteria are only by themselves, without the deen, it's like somebody when he goes to the mall and he goes to look for a watch. And you look a watch that looks good on you. Perfect, the color, the design, and so on. But you don't know this watch. You never heard about the model. And you look for another watch, is not that attractive, is not that this and that, but you know the model. Swiss, or this or that. Something that you know the model and the quality. Which one you gonna buy? Most people, they're gonna go for the first one because the attraction, how it looks. But you know, after 3 months, 4 months, what will happen to it? The quality is bad, you don't know it. It's not known model. So that's why the consequences, many people, subhanallah, they live in denial. Why? And here, I mentioned this many times all my life. It's a conflict between your mind and heart and your ego. Most of the time people go with their egos. And the ego will make you suffer. Follow your heart and mind, not your ego. The ego always decide the worst thing for you, the bad things for you. And the ego has no logic. The ego has no argument. But is what? Whining, crying. I want this. Is like a child inside of you. Little child. I want that, I want that. And as an adult, we know what the child is crying for is not good for him or her. We know that. But the child, he doesn't know. He doesn't care. I want it, I want it. That's what happened to many people. At least if you want to do this, do it. But don't do it in the marriage. Because the consequences are severe, as I said. I'm talking to Muslims that they care about their deen and dunya and their akhirah. If you are not in this category or you don't care, this is something else. That's why the Prophet ﷺ, and it was narrated, that he warned the people not to run after this other criteria. Maybe the money. Because the money, if you are running after the money, that this woman, she has the money, Her money might make her arrogant, and she will enslave you, she will humiliate you, she will do this to you. Or maybe for their beauty, and their beauty can create problem for you. Always you're gonna think, is she's okay? She's not talking to somebody else. She's not that, and you will live in paranoia. And also, it was narrated, whosoever married a woman for her wealth, Allah will increase him in poverty. Because subhanallah, your intention is something, Allah will treat you against your intention. And whosoever married a woman just because of her family status, Allah will put him down. Because he's trying to marry a woman with high status in the society that he can be elevated also. Allah will put him down. And whosoever married a woman just to protect himself and follow and achieve the goals that I mentioned, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will put blessing in that marriage. What matter is the blessing. If things is not blessed, that's it. There is nothing. Subhanallah. Now we are putting the foundation. So number one, the deen. The deen, the deen. And we are talking about somebody that understand the deen, believe in the deen, not the deen as culture. Because the culture, people can change it. Or the culture doesn't have any impact on people. In the time of seriousness, in the time of tribulation, in the time of conflict, when you bring the deen, she will not care about it. I don't care. I know examples, I know cases where the person, you know the hadith, whosoever a woman that she went to sleep and her husband is not pleased with her because she doesn't have no legitimate reason, just arrogant, she doesn't care. The angel will curse her till the morning. So this brother, he used this hadith with his wife. You know what was the answer? I don't care about you and your angels. A religious person, a woman, will not do that. She will never even say that. When she is reminded, she'll say astaghfirullah and stops. Nothing, no argument, no nothing. It's the reminder. I know some of you might say, what about the husband? We're going to come to that. But as I said, the backbone, a strong wife, religiously and morally, things can work. Subhanallah, she has the power to make the family and the whole family happy and successful. That's why the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he didn't leave these things open for us to do whatever we want. Or as some people now, they are going to somebody else to give them the criteria. I want to get married, and you go to a secular counselor or you attend a seminar that is secular seminar and so on, and they will tell you some stuff, and you forget that your prophet, that he loves you, he gives you the right things to do. He said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and this hadith narrated by Bukhari and Muslim, and it's famous hadith, everybody knows it. تنكح المرأة لأربع. A woman can be married only for one of these four. People will be attracted to marry her for these four things. Because if she doesn't have these four things, why people want married? One time one brother, he was upset and he came to me and said, Sheikh, and he was rude. Nobody wants to accept me in marriage. I proposed to a lot of women and their family reject me and so on. And I said, brother, Why they have to marry you? You don't have nothing of the three things. Why? Why they have to marry you? You don't have job. That is number one. The look is not that, mashallah. And your tongue is bad. Why? Why? So go fix these things. At least fix your character. Who wants to give you his daughter and you are jobless? You are not responsible financially. And you are rude. And the look, you are just, mashallah, average. So the same. The Prophet ﷺ, he gave all the things that can make a woman attracted for marriage. And number one, her wealth. And there are some people, unfortunately, some man, he goes for that. I call them male. He's just looking for the money. This person is, I don't know. And these people, either they are people who, they know how to abuse women, and he knows because he is given sharp tongue and so on. These people either take advantage of the woman, or they are the male that accept humiliation, and they can be ridiculed and humiliated by the woman. Otherwise, a man will not go for that. And number two, لحسبها, because of her family status. The family is known in the society. Not necessarily they are rich, but they are from noble family and so on. People with the character, people that they are known and so on. And most of the people, they like to do that in order to be recognized. They want some validation, so they include themselves. And there are some fathers, sometimes they marry their daughters to this kind of people that he can be recognized in the society like that family. And this is wrong also. And number three, for her beauty. MashaAllah, just the beauty. And you know the beauty what can does to a man if he is not paying attention. And the woman, she doesn't have the deen. I have cases, I don't want to mention them here, and I have stories that sometimes I kicked the person from my office. I think, get out from my office. You cannot be here. And he is compromising everything because of the beauty. And the fourth one is for her religion and morals, akhlaq. That's why, subhanallah, let me take one exit for 1 second. In the election, based on what you are choosing, this president or this president and so on, most of the people, including Muslim, they are choosing for two quality, for two criteria, and they forget the third one. My political interest, who's going to serve them, who's going to serve me politically, my interest, and economically. That's it. But nobody cares about morals, what this president is going to do and say about morals. People, they don't care. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make these people that they been elected a curse on them. So the same. Then the Prophet, he didn't tell you, well, it's up to you, do whatever you want. Look what he says, the conclusion of the hadith. فَاظْفَرْ, it's an order. And he didn't say, look. No. فَاظْفَرْ, like there is something rare. It doesn't exist, a commodity. And you found it, you know what you're going to do? You're going to jump. Like last 2 days, people are looking for toilet paper and paper towel. So whenever somebody finds something, he will go and grab it. That is called fadfar. Look for what? Fadfar bidati deen. Look for the religious person. Taribat yadak. You know what does it mean, taribat yadak? It's also mentioned in the Quran. أو مسكينا ذا متربة. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, if you don't do that, you're going to be among the losers. You're going to be a loser. Subhanallah. So, the Prophet ﷺ, he said, the religious person, the religious woman, that she understands the deen, religious, because if you ask many people what does it mean religious now, you will be lost. Even with the man, the religious person, long beard. I'm not saying the beard is not important, it's from the Sunnah. But this is not religious. The religious here is the wife, the woman that she knows the right of the husband, the right of the family. She knows what does it mean a family. She doesn't know what it means marriage. She knows the responsibilities. She knows the rights. She knows the duties. And does this as a worship. She takes it, those rights and duties, like praying, like fasting. That is the religious one that he is talking about. فاظفر بذات الدين تربت يداك. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he gave us another hadith to tell us who is the right person, who is the right wife. Subhanallah, everything is in detail. Especially when it comes to the family, Quran and Sunnah make big deal out of it. Look what he said. خير النساء, the best amongst women. من إذا نظرت إليها سرتك. When you look at her, you are pleased with her. You are attracted to her. There is chemistry. There is chemistry. Subhanallah, that Allah put. Because the woman, Allah put this light, this nur on her face because of her religion and her morals. Subhanallah, because she is closer to Allah, Allah shower her with that light and attraction, and she looks the most beautiful in the eyes of her husband. Of course, we're going to say she takes care of herself, but there is the barakah that Allah put to her because she is very religious and sound in morals. MashaAllah. You feel that you are satisfied. You feel that you are content when you look at her. Subhanallah. This is number one. وَإِذَا أَمَرْتَهَا أَطَاعَتْكَ. When you told her to do something which is not in contradiction with Islam, she obeys you. Here, the hadith use word obeys you. I know today on what's going on, people they start being apologetic about this word of the hadith. No. And why she's obeying you? Not because you are anything. She doesn't do this out of fear. No. It's a worship. She's obeying you because that's what her prophet told her. Obey your husband. And that's what Allah told her. So she's doing ibadah. When she obeys her husband, she doesn't feel weak, she doesn't feel low, she doesn't feel this. No, she feels honored because she is obeying Allah and His Messenger. That is number two. Number three, وَإِذَا أَقْسَمْتَ عَلَيْهَا أَبَرَّتْ. When you swear by Allah, you want her to do something, she will do it. She will not argue nothing. Again, is a worship, is a ibadah. I know some sisters said, Sheikh, you are too much. You're going to make him this and that. No, no, no. We're going to come to all this stuff. The deen is a package. The husband that he deserves this is the husband who also gives the right to the woman and he does what he needs to do. Not because I'm your husband. No. So don't worry, we're going to put things into perspective. So, yes, as long as it doesn't contradict with what Allah says or the Prophet, yeah, Wallahi, I want you to do this, do it. And I'm talking about to the believer women, believing women, that they believe in the reward, they believe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward them, the Prophet will be happy with them, they believe in Al-Jannah. I'm not talking about somebody else. Number 4, وَإِذَا غِبْتَ عَنْهَا حَفِظَتْكَ فِي نَفْسِهَا وَمَالِكَ. When you are absent, you are traveling, you are not with her, you don't have to put cameras, like people are putting cameras, hidden camera to see what the wife is doing or this. No! She's a woman that she is honest. And she will take care of your wealth and in herself. She will never betray you. That is the woman that the Prophet is talking about. MashaAllah. This is Jannah, by the way. That is where you're going to feel living in Jannah before the other Jannah. Imagine if you are married to somebody that has the opposite of this 4. I don't know what is hell if this is not hell. And also, Islam wants you to look for the woman that she grows in stable family psychologically. Is not somebody, as we mentioned, emotionally damaged, either abuse or this or that. Somebody that is stable in her emotion. She doesn't go extremes. If she is angry, that's it. She goes extreme. If she's happy, she goes extreme. Somebody she is balanced in her emotions and this stuff and so on. Because she is the woman that she's going to take care of everything. Because emotionally she's balanced. MashaAllah. Why? As the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, خير نساء ركبنا الإبل صالح نساء قريش. The best woman is the best of the people of Quraysh. Why? They are kind and soft when it comes to the babies. She takes care of them. She gives them rahmah, love, take care of them. Subhanallah. And also, she takes care of her husband. Emotionally, this and that. And especially sometimes maybe if the husband gets sick or this or that. Subhanallah. And we have seen this in our life. My mother, I saw her, what she did with my father. When he was sick and that's it, he can do anything. And he was not that old and she was not that old. They were not old. And I saw, subhanallah, what we, the children, sometimes we lack to do for our father. There are other stuff that really we can mention that here, but really I want to stop here because I want you to digest this, inshallah. That's why Islam encourages the man to look at the woman. And we're going to explain the hadith about this 4 things that I mentioned, look for the deen. So now when people, they want to get married, they ask somebody to look for somebody with the deen. Don't do that. The best implementation of the hadith, that go and look and try to look at that woman without her knowing, without her seeing you. When you feel that there is some chemistry, then go and proceed. Then you put your condition, I'm looking for a religious person. Because if you ask for a religious person, and mashallah, somebody said, I know one sister, and they bring you together, and you didn't like her, for whatever reason. There is no chemistry, there is no attraction. Subhanallah. That woman, she might have a complex. And the shaitan will play the game here. And he will tell her, look, he doesn't like you because you are wearing hijab, you are this, you are because you are religious, and this, and you should do this. And he will play with her mind. But imagine, subhanallah, when you meet that woman, and you saw her, and you've been attracted to her, and she's not practicing, And you say, no, I want somebody that is practicing. Here you did favor to her. She will say, wow, without being practicing, I'm nothing. So you are giving indirect da'wah and you are helping that woman. But don't compromise on the deen. But number one, look first. That's why Jabir said, I used to hide for the woman that I want to marry. I was used to hide. And I see her without her knowing. And here it's allowed because your intention is to get married. Because the woman, her worth is in her physical, in herself. That is big deal to her. If she feels that's being rejected because of the look or this or that, that is very painful. Also, to look for somebody who can procreate. That mashallah. And how do you know that a woman can give birth to a lot of children? Through her family, her mother, her aunts, her sisters that they get married and so on. Because subhanAllah, as I told you, my best advice to the happy couples is to have more children. As much as you can. Because really the children will be, mashallah, the comfort of your eyes. But if you have problems and you are not a happy couple, my advice to you, hold on the children. You don't want to bring them to this misery and problems and this and that. And we will stop here, inshallah. And as I said, I hope our sisters take this to their heart. Because the believing woman will not have no problem with that. I don't make the rules. The husband doesn't make the rules. It's Allah who makes the rules. For the believing woman, khalas. Allah is my Rabb. Allah is my Ilah. I obey Him. I'm not obeying the husband. It's not about the husband. And that's what they are now doing to humanity. That's why you find this conflict and hate between the man and the woman. The man, this and that and that. No. The woman, she looks, who put the rules? Allah. And that's why you say these women that really, they don't like this stuff and they hate it. Who's there? You find her so arrogant when it comes to her husband, but she's almost looked down in front of her boss in the job. My boss say this. My boss wants me to do this. Your boss, how much he's giving you? Nothing. Comparing to what your husband, I'm talking about the right husband, is doing for you. Everything is for you and your children. So I'm talking to the believing man and woman. That's why if somebody have problem with what I'm saying, really I want you to stop, not to listen to this, and come for other talks. To talks about the articles of Iman and faith. Yeah. That's why, let me give this gesture to the sister, because I don't want you to go to bed and you are tense. If the husband comes to you and says, you need to work, tell him, no, I don't have to work. It's your job. I'm not responsible for anything. You can tell him this and look at his face. Because that is her job, that is his duty. And when he's taking care of you, he's not doing you a favor. Allah told him to take care of you. So you see the balance? And the man should do that with happiness. He should not feel, I am the provider. No, you are not. That is your responsibility. Allah put you, that is your responsibility. And in Islam, there is no responsibility without rights. And there is no rights without responsibility. So I'm talking to the believing man and woman. That's what I'm talking to. Somebody else that they are struggling with this, and they don't believe in this or that, or they've been influenced by something else, we need to take other talks. You remember what we said? Islam is like building. You have the foundation first. The foundation is the article of faith, to believe in Allah, the angels, the book, the messenger, the hereafter, the qadar. You need to understand that. When you understand that, you will not have problem with this. You will not have problem with this. Yeah. Because who made these rules? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why many people got upset with the Sheikh. Sheikh, he's just explaining the rules. He doesn't make the rules. Allah makes the rules. That's it. And when it comes to the Allah's rules, all of us will say, Sami'na wa ata'na. We hear and obey. And wallahi, my brothers and sisters, if you obey the rules of Allah, maybe in the beginning you feel tough and this is the test. After a while, you feel some happiness inside. You feel some peace. You feel something that you cannot explain. Like I mentioned in the fundraising on Saturday, when you give, subhanallah, you know there is struggle between you and shaitan and nafs and this. After you give, and you give for Allah, not for any other reason, wallahi, you feel some tranquility and some peace and some happiness inside you that is priceless. The same when the woman follow these orders and when the man do the same. That's why problem comes from where, as I said, when we don't understand this stuff. When the man is going in the morning, maybe he didn't have good sleep, maybe whatever, he's still tired and he wakes up in the morning to go to work. He has to know what he is doing is a worship. And whatever he brings back to his family, Allah will reward him for that. And it's not favor. That is the responsibility. So when you take things as worship, you will not have problem. But when you take things personal and the ego is involved, there is no way. That's why we have problems in the family, subhanallah. Yeah. So may Allah take us back to our deen, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us to follow the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us among the believing men and believing women. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help the brothers and sisters who are looking for spouses to give them the right spouses. The spouses that inshallah can make them strong in their deen and dunya and everything. And for those who are mashallah happy couples, may Allah increase your happiness. May Allah join between your hearts more and more. And may Allah give you the best of this marriage. And for those who are struggling with their marriage, I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to reform your marriage. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bring your hearts together. I ask, don't blame one another. Please, blaming one another is just waste of time. It doesn't solve any problem. It just makes you hate one another more and resent one another more. Ask Allah to bring your hearts together. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to remove the obstacles in front of both of you. And inshallah, you're going to go back and love one another like the first days. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless all the Muslim families, inshallah. اللهم اقسم لنا من خشيتك ما تحول به بيننا وبين معصيتك ومن طاعتك ما تبلغنا به جنتك ومن اليقين ما تهون به علينا مصائب الدنيا ومتعنا اللهم بأسماعنا وأبصارنا وقواتنا أبدا ما أحييتنا واجعله الوارث منا واجعل ثأرنا على من ظلمنا وانصرنا على من عادانا ولا تجعل مصيبتنا في ديننا ولا تجعل الدنيا أكبر همنا ولا مبلغ علمنا ولا إلى النار مصيرنا ولا تسلط علينا بذنوبنا من لا يخافك فينا ولا يرحمنا اللهم ارفع مقتك وغضبك عنا ولا تهلكنا بما فعل السفهاء منا اللهم ارفع عنا هذا الوباء اللهم ارفع عنا هذا الوباء اللهم ارفع عنا وعن المسلمين الأمراض والأسقام والأوجاع والأوبئة والأمراض القاتلة والأمراض المزمنة يا رب العالمين عافنا والمسلمين في أبداننا وأسماعنا وأبصارنا اللهم الطف بنا فيما جرت به المقادير اللهم الطف بنا فيما جرت به المقادير اللهم إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا اللهم إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا اللهم انصر الإسلام وعز المسلمين واعل بفضلك كلمتي الحق والدين ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وصل اللهم وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد